Howdy folks, and welcome to the Hillbilly Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a real southern favorite, old-fashioned buttermilk pie. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my oven on and let it preheat to 400 degrees. This pie is so simple, we'll probably have it mixed up before the oven even gets preheated. Okay, now you're going to need a 9-inch pie crust. If you buy one, get a deep dish, or if you want a recipe for a good homemade pie crust, this just has 4 ingredients in it, and we have a video up for it. I'll put a link in the description. Really easy to make them. You need a 1.5 cups of sugar. The sugar in this recipe can be adjusted all the way down to 1 cup or all the way up to 2 cups. Kind of depends on how you want it to taste. So after you make it a couple of times, adjust the sugar a little bit and get it the way you want it. I like it kind of in the middle at about 1.5 cups. You need 1/2 cup of melted butter, 3 whole eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla, a cup of buttermilk, and I do recommend getting whole buttermilk. That fat will make your pie much richer and much creamier than skim buttermilk. I don't even understand why you would use skim buttermilk in anything, especially in a pie. I mean, it's a pie. It's fattening. 3 tablespoons of flour and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I'm just going to go ahead and dump my salt and my flour, and we're going to use this to thicken our pie with. And I'm just going to start by whipping my eggs a little bit. You don't really need a mixer to mix this up. And I'm going to go ahead and put my wet stuff in here. Go ahead and put my buttermilk in. And add my vanilla. And you can use a little more. I usually do a little more than a teaspoon. I just like the flavor of vanilla. Okay, and then mix in your sugar. Now, and my sugar stuck to my measuring cup. You do want to make sure you mix this enough to get the sugar all dissolved. You don't want any big lumps of sugar in your pie. And you can use a mixer to mix it with if you want. I just don't think it's worth the effort to drag out a mixer and clean up all the beaters and wipe the mixer off and everything before you put it away, because these just aren't hard to mix. Okay, you also want to make sure when you mix it that you don't have any big lumps of flour in there either. Okay, that looks pretty good, and that's the whole pie mixed up there. I'm just going to take my spatula and scrape the sides of the bowl and down in the bottom before I dump it out, just to make sure I don't have anything stuck in the bottom of my bowl. And then pour it in my pie shell. Now, as this cooks, it's going to rise up a little bit, so you do want to make sure you have it in a deep dish pie crust, or you're going to get it all over your oven. And it will, when it's completely done and it starts to cool, it should still fill our pie crust. But when we take it out of the oven, it's actually going to be risen up, I don't know, anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 inch above the pie crust, and then it'll settle back down about even with the top of the pie crust, maybe just a little bit. So that's normal, you know, don't think it's not. And also, this pie here, if I just put it in the oven and bake it, it's going to get really, really, really brown by the time it gets done. Oh, there's the oven, and we're done mixing it. Now, I like mine really, really, really brown, but it's not as pretty for a video. And if you're making this for company and you want it to be prettier, I'm going to show you how to do a tint. Now, all you're going to do is take a piece of aluminum foil that's about square, and we're going to fold it. If you ever made those little paper toy things or paper airplanes when you were a kid, this is kind of the same way that you would fold it. Be careful not to completely flatten it out in the middle as you do this, but I folded it in half both ways. And now I'm going to fold it diagonally both ways. And what that will do is it will allow me to kind of crumple it up, and it'll keep it off of my pie. Now, I don't want to just wrap the top of my pie in this because that will trap the steam and it'll make my pie really soggy. And I'm not going to leave this on my pie the whole time it cooks. We cook this pie anywhere from 50 minutes to an hour, maybe a little more. But you can see there it kind of stands up and makes a little tent. And all I'm going to do when I put this in the oven is I'm going to sit it on top of my pie like that. And that will keep it from browning for like the first 30 minutes that it's in the oven. After it's cooked for about 30 minutes, take this off because like I said, that pie is going to rise up and it will stick to the aluminum foil kind of around the edge if you don't. And your pie won't get brown if you don't take it off too. You do want it browned some, even if you're trying to make it pretty for company. So we're just going to put this in the oven like this, and I'm going to leave it, like I said, for about 30 minutes. Then I'll pull that foil off and I'll let it finish cooking. And we'll be back in about an hour or so to see what it looks like when it's done. My buttermilk pie has been in my oven for a little bit over an hour now, maybe about an hour and 5 minutes. And that is partly because it's raining here, and when it is really humid, it is going to take just a little bit longer for your pies and stuff like that to bake. Now the first 30 minutes I had it in the oven, I did have the full tint over it because I didn't want the top to get too brown. Like I said, I really don't mind when I'm not making it for a video if it gets that brown because I don't mind that taste. I kind of like it. But if you're making it for company or you're making it to take somewhere, you might want to tint it because it does look almost burned. It gets so dark. It doesn't taste burned, but it looks that way, and people will tend to kind of shy away from your buttermilk pie. But tinting it for the 30 minutes, you can see made it golden brown still. It's definitely caramelized on top. It looks really good. We have some butter up here on top. But our pie is firm, and that's what you want. You want it to be firm when you take it out of the oven. And you can see it has risen up above the crust quite a bit there. You want that too. And it is going to settle down. That's nothing to worry about. That doesn't hurt your pie at all. That's normal with custard pies, and buttermilk pie is another custard pie. Now, buttermilk pie is welcome at just about any family gathering. And it doesn't matter what time of the year it is. It's always good for holidays. You can serve it hot or cold. It's good if you just want to have some friends over and have coffee and desserts. You can make a buttermilk pie and serve it with your coffee and sit around and talk for a while. Now, I like my buttermilk pie best cold and absolutely plain. But if you're making it for a special Sunday dinner or for dinner with special company and you want to dress it up and make it look like something you get in a really fancy restaurant, you can take a little caramel sauce and drizzle it over your plate and then top it with some homemade whipped cream. And that will really give you a rich dessert. It will look fancy. It will impress people. Like I said, I like mine just like this, only I like it cold. You don't want to cut it right now because it's not really firm. You want to wait at least 15-20 minutes until it settles down, and you'll know when that happens. Like it's still sizzling right now. Would not want to try and cut it and scoop it out. It would just run everywhere. But in about 20 minutes you could serve it and eat it warm. Don't know that I would put the whipped cream on it warm because that'll tend to melt the whipped cream. But if you want to dress it up, it dresses up really nice. It makes a really fancy dessert, or it makes a really plain country dessert. It's just kind of what you want to do with it. And it's a very unique taste. If you've ever had it, you probably remember it. And I've never met anybody who did not like it once they had it. If you tell people you're serving buttermilk pie and they've never had it, they might go, huh? But once they've had it, most people really enjoy it because it is a really delicious pie. So whatever the occasion you have coming up, or just create an occasion, invite some friends over and have coffee and make a buttermilk pie. I hope you enjoy one soon. This kind of brings to mind Psalm 118:24. This is the day which the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. If you haven't already, please don't forget to click like and subscribe before you leave. Share our videos with your friends. I appreciate you being with us so much in the Hillbilly Kitchen. And until next time, remember to put God first.